everybody? Welcome in to the North End Podcast, episode 256. My name is Zach Graham, your host here in the North End, joined, as always, by my good buddy. He's on record as my best friend. His name is Ian Michaud, and we call him E. Sitting here on a Sunday, beautiful Austin, Texas, but certainly not victorious Austin, Texas. Look, man, I am hurt. I am sad. I am worried. And I'm a little bit pissed, I think. and maybe a little bit more oomph to that because we traveled up there again and it is fucking 100% pain when we go to Toyota Stadium. So there, I had to jump in front of you to talk about how I'm feeling. How are you feeling, my friend?
Yeah, I'm checking all those boxes as well, right there with you. Adding very tired.
Yeah. My head hurts too.
Yeah. All of that. So, if you watch the game, I'm sorry. I apologize because I didn't even rewatch this one. If there's any way I could unwatch it from last night, I would prefer that. But Jesus Christ, man, we're already putting a lot more emphasis on Wednesday after what we saw last night. So time to get into it and time to relive this absolute nightmare of a game that took place last night.
Yeah, if you could put any more emphasis on the importance of Wednesday's match, Austin FC sure managed to do that last night. And I did, before you arose this morning, I did get a rewatch in, so you can relive this all along with everybody listening as I remind you of what went down last night. We will, of course, preview Wednesday's match because that one is coming up fast here in the double game week. A little last business day, checking in on the best keeper in the world and the nonsense to close out episode 256. Before we get to all of that, want to remind you all listening or watching on the YouTube channel that you can support the show financially by downloading the audio versions of our episodes wherever you get your podcasts. And Apple, Spotify, wherever you get those pods, toggle on auto downloads. That'll support the show going forward. And you don't have to think about it again. You can go the extra mile, rate and review the show wherever you get your podcast. And if you are watching on the YouTube channel, hitting the subscribe button does help us grow the podcast. You can hit the notification bell to know when a live stream pops up or a new episode goes live. And of course, here on episode 256, hit the thumbs up, like the video, help keep us alive through the sadness, and wash yourselves clean in the waters of the North End. I don't think really any news between our Thursday preview episode and Saturday outside of the injury report and some minor crumbs we picked up on Friday. Those crumbs were that Besard Sabovic made the trip with the team as the media team posted pictures of him getting on the bus. And then we get a little bit of speculation, I think, amongst the true sickos, looking at Mirtu Izuni posting an Instagram post on Friday with the location tag in Albania. Now, of course, you can tag an Instagram post as a location that you are not actually at anymore. So that, I think, is the consensus we came to, or at least had our fingers crossed for. And Mirtu did end up making the trip. But Mikael Dessler on the injury report popped up with a questionable tag. Lower body was the designation. He did not end up playing on Saturday, was not in the team. And I will talk about this when we, shift to Minnesota, but I'm really hoping that questionable was more like precautionary. We need you Wednesday, brother.
I think I'm there. And the designation of lower body, the vagueness of what it is leads me to believe that we were being extra, extra cautious with him to make sure that he's ready to go Wednesday, because we are a completely different team when he does not play. He is so impactful on everything we want to do on both sides of the ball. And we really need him for this Minnesota club, particularly with the type of players that they have on the wings up there in Minnesota. So we're going to need him big time. I hope everything is okay. And I am inclined to believe everything is okay. We won't do the normal North End. Oh God, he might be lost for the season.
Yeah. Well, and looking across the ball, man, I think Peter Quill, right, head coach of FC Dallas, I think he watched that film from a month ago down at Q2 Stadium and said, that worked, let's do it again, because you get Petar Musa and Logan Farrington starting out there together. They did run that 5 back out there, even though that's not what FOTMob would have you believe. The one change was Ibiaga for Lalas Abubakar, but you still had Kamungo out there on the left, Ramiro kind of over top of Shaq Moore on the right side, and Kaique out there next to Kappas in the midfield. This is about the strongest lineup that I think Dallas can field at this point. Maybe some debate around Anderson Julio being out there, but it did. I mean, dude, if the disparity in intensity and focus and cohesiveness, if the disparity is that large, it didn't matter who we were running out, they were running out. We weren't beating anybody the way we came out there last night.
Well said. Yeah, because once again, they punched us in the mouth, this time with an early goal, and the physicality level was there from the rip, and we did not match it. Like you said, we didn't even come close to matching it. And it threw us completely off of our game. And, you know, we're sitting there, we're talking about this on the ride back and everything. I'm just like, we didn't cheer one time outside of when Brad decided that he was going to get a yellow card. And that was the only time we got to cheer. And like, that is a very rare occurrence for any game that we go to, any sport, you know, but like, God, yeah, they have our number right now. You know, you don't get any wins in Copa Tejas this year. That fucking sucks. We obviously still, again, have everything in front of us that we want. You have the shot at this Open Cup at home, which will be fantastic if we can pull that off. But yeah, you got punked again. You got punked really hard.
So getting into this one in the first minute, like you mentioned, and this was Logan Farrington getting some space, I should say, on the right side of goal into the 18, and he's got a rip that goes right at Brad. And so Stuver parries that away, but this is just a harbinger of things to come, man, because literally 90 seconds in. So we're into the second minute now. And I don't remember the giveaway goal that we had in the first away match last year against Dallas, right? We had the back pass that like goes right to Musa. I don't know if that was sooner than this one. I think this one was quicker, man. But like, again, maximum pain when we go up to Toyota Stadium, at least since 2022. In the second minute here was a long ball over the top from third string goalkeeper Jacob Jackson. That gets headed away by Svatok, but only as far as Petar Musa, and he just shrugs off Danny Pereira and turns to find Farrington, who's at the edge of the 18-yard box. Farrington takes a touch kind of going away from net, and then he just backheels it through like 4 Austin defenders right to the feet of Musa. And there's like 6 Austin players who are holding the offside line, and Musa is well offside. But Guilherme Biru, for all the praise that we gave him in the Sporting match, and well-deserved, he was on the, like, I'm interested to see the goals added metrics, because if this doesn't have Biru all the way at the bottom of his output this year, I don't know what the fuck is going on with goals played, because this was a bad game, and bad game for Biru, and it started here just hanging out in no man's land, keeping Musa well onside. You don't even need to check that, man. We could see it from the seats there up in that corner. And it's 1-0, man. 90 seconds in, and we just look like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, just like, what are you guys doing? Just flat out asleep to start this game. And well, not just to start this game, for the entirety of the game, we were basically asleep here, man. And like shrugged off, Danny, is a pretty nice way to say that, because he literally took 2 hands and just pushed him, which again, the physicality, that's how they play. He's a big guy. And this is a really nice touch from Farrington, who had a fantastic game last night for them. Megged someone
super draft pick
later in the second half, I believe. And he was loose at the top of that box so often last night and like unguarded multiple times. And we're sitting there. I don't know how many of these Dallas shots, because I mean, like,
I had to leave so many out.
Yeah. Like, also because there's nothing we can really talk about for us outside of being absolutely fucking atrocious.
Yeah.
But we're sitting there and we're like, if these guys could shoot, like if you had a dude who could shoot from outside the box on Dallas, not named Petar Musa, man, they would have scored 3 goals in the first half. There's wide open shots all over the field. It was bad, bro. It was really fucking bad.
It doesn't seem to matter who is playing forward for FC Dallas. If you put on that kit and you see Austin FC across the pitch from you, you're going to score.
Yep.
And maybe twice. 18th minute here. And like, maybe I'm nitpicking because this is all so terrible, but off a Gallagher long throw, the ball gets cleared out of the 18, but Austin does retain possession. And so ATX cycles it over to the left side where Obrian and Heinzike have a chance for a give and go that would have surely created a chance. We couldn't really see. This was on the far end from the corner that we were in the first half. I think this absolutely creates a chance. You know, whether or not Hodder Obrian does anything with it or not is a different conversation. But Brendan just hammers this one way too hard and wide, and it just throws over. He has to go completely out of the 18-yard box to retrieve this one on the end line and save it from going out of bounds, and there's nothing doing. And, like, dude, this is, like, the only Austin note I have in the first half hour, just to kind of illustrate, like, what I have to do to find an Austin. It's not even a highlight, but to talk about us.
Yeah, I mean, so incredibly sloppy. Just so incredibly sloppy all night from the rip, man. God, it was embarrassing. It was an embarrassing effort and performance. We're sitting right in front of the supporters who traveled and everything. Yeah, we got our two friends with us. There. Yeah, it was a great
especially
group.
With a large number of supporters, I think, either already going or planning to go to Minnesota this week.
True. Oh, good point. Yeah. And they showed up in force, as we tend to do when we go to Dallas. We show up with a nice little contingent, and like
one buddy was not happy about that.
That's a good story. We'll get to that. But I mean, it's probably the most fun game you can have if you're a Dallas fan, because you actually have stuff like that stadium is dead all the time, just dead. There's no life. But everyone last night that was sitting in our section hated us and hated the supporter section even more up there. But good Lord, man, you really just did embarrass the fan base here with this game. This was like you said, you're trying to find a highlight here for us, and it's oh God, you kicked it way over our player's head.
Yeah, we almost had a chance.
To Hodder Obrian, what a shift that was.
Again, like it's not personal for me. Just watching this season and knowing the contract status, the fact that he has, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's under contract next year, dude. Like,
I think he is.
Which is like, if he wasn't, I would be very confident in the take that we're watching the final weeks of Hodder Obrian with Austin FC. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, man.
I don't know.
If we can get anything out of him down the stretch here, it's a huge win.
Anything, literally anything. An assist, a decent ball that is a hockey assist. I'll take that at this point, because good Lord, we were toothless all night long. Couldn't get the ball to Buka up the right side of the pitch. He's tracking back constantly just to try to get touches, and we're just incapable of getting him the ball. And then hot air up front. I mean, like Diego's running around up there too. He put in a stinker. I mean, there's nobody that you can look to and say, good shift last night.
24th minute here. Dallas, just in the notes, the more dangerous team, the more cohesive team, the more motivated team in all facets through the first 25 minutes. And here, Kamungo and Kappas are combining down the left, and they open space up for Kappas to loft across towards the back post, where Petar Musso has just snuck right behind Guilherme again.
Wide open.
Free header. And very lucky that he puts it right at Stuver. I do think, watching the replay, if that had gone in, I think it would have been checked for offside. It was very close, but Biru's sleepwalking last night, dude. And that was just, and I don't know, again, we're focusing on him. Nobody was good.
Correct.
And I'm not sure if this is everybody's mind is on Wednesday or not. How much, I think that played some part. I don't know how much, but whatever it was, it can't, like, come on, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can compete with fucking FC Dallas and still be ready for Wednesday.
I mean, it's called professionalism, man. And we got some quotes out of Brad Stuver before this game talking about, like, not getting complacent or overly confident. And if you were overly confident in the ability of this team, if you're an Austin player, you are a delusional person. As nice as the run has been, absolutely. You've beaten DC, LA Galaxy, San Jose, and
Sporting
KC.
You're supposed to win those.
Yes, those are games you absolutely should have won, had to win. And for that to even like creep into your mind that you can take the fucking foot off the pedal here a little bit versus a rival who we said this was going to be their last, most likely their last biggest game of the season, beating us, knocking us down a peg, and handing it to us. And they came out, and to their credit, and again, there's not going to be a single person we say something positive about last night, but at least we can put blame on everyone, coaching staff, top to bottom. player top to bottom. If you got on the field last night, you were bad. You didn't help us. So there's plenty of blame to go around. But like, I mean, come on, man. If you're looking at that Minnesota game, you really better win now because you have set a tone.
Yeah,
the vibes are low, very low.
You're standing on the edge of the cliff for, oh shit, it's September. Yep. We're not supposed to be winning.
Yeah, for sure.
The only thing I'll argue with you or push back on is I still think Brad had a fine night. The 2 goals we get scored, it's just one on Stuver. What's he supposed to do?
Fair, that's fair. And O'Brien, contract until 2026 with an option in 27.
Well, so it's like with Brad, right? Like, we know he can make a crazy stop. Like we saw it against Jovic to save the 3 points last weekend, but we're going to ask him to do that multiple times a game. Come on.
Exactly. And Jovic should have scored that.
Yeah, for sure.
Most of the time he scores that, you know what I mean? So like, not to say that there was like a bunch of cracks in the defense and the evidence was telling enough to where we could have seen this ass whooping coming, but man.
28th minute, you get a yellow card to Delgado for a challenge on Rubio. Of course, Diego sold that one a little bit. Now, that is one thing that I shout out to Dorn and Timms for the weekend, man, because it's always great to see those guys. And I know Dorn was enjoying watching Diego and his, trying to work a little bit of dark magic. Didn't have a ton of it last night, but I remember him chuckling at that foul. Next minute, off that free kick, Stuver boots it long. It's headed up into the air once before Guilherme gets shoved by Delgado again. And that's why I was just kind of like, come on, man, it's 45 seconds after he just got a yellow. Not that I'm advocating for a red there, but so we get another free kick there. Owen lines up over it. He lofts it in towards the scrum, crashing the back post. And there Guilherme, his highlight of the night, rises up, puts a header on frame, got a little bit of zip on it, but the placement is just right where Jackson can get down to his right and save it without much trouble. And again, like 29th minute, dude, it took a half hour for us to do anything threatening. Anything.
Yeah. And I mean, this was a good header, a good attempt, and you didn't test this third string keeper.
Yeah.
This was his biggest test all night. He passed it, save looked fine. I think I said, oh, that's a nice save, to kind of be like, oh yeah, I know we're getting our ass kicked right now. Let's give those guys a little credit with all the Dallas fans sitting around us and everything. But
yeah,
like you said, we'll put the preface in front of his name there, All-Star Guilherme Biru, but he was one of the worst players in the field last night, and it was pretty obvious.
Yeah. 38th minute, Danny 2-hand shoves Farrington down from behind, and like for half a second, it looks like he's like turning to complain to Victor Rivas, and then like thinks better of it. But like he's definitely frustrated, and I get it. Dallas beats the shit out of him every time we come up to Dallas. And like we saw him 2 years ago, he got tossed, right?
Yep.
And so like that is, I feel like they've cycled through now like their third coach, and it just seems like it's always on their whiteboard. Like you're going at Pereira and trying to take him off his game mentally. Like I don't think I'm not going to say that he lost his mental side of it last night. Cause like, I don't think any of our guys really had it. But he's definitely frustrated, and I think for good reason, because, like, especially getting into the second half, dude, they are beating the absolute crap out of him.
I mean, the fouls were, 19-3, something along those lines? 19-6, or 19-7, and they fouled Danny 6 times. So they fouled him only one time less than we committed fouls the entire game. So, and we're watching Danny, and to Danny's credit, he gets the highest rating on FOTMob, whatever you want to take away from that. But Danny was active. Danny was participating. Danny was putting in a lot of effort. It just, you can't have one guy just really running around playing like his hair's on fire, but we're not doing anything around him. That's not, he was just
he was getting doubled. Owen was getting doubled. Got out coached last night too.
Yeah, they were beating up Owen too. They were definitely beating Owen up too. They took a couple hard fouls on him as well, man. But we knew that was coming. We knew this was coming. And when you give them that first goal and they can relax in their block a little bit, but to your point, you talked about earlier while we were driving up, like their counter pressing that they were putting on. And as soon as you cross half field, there's 6 dudes. There's 6 dudes, 7 dudes there. And those 4 defensive players in the back there, big physical players who did it all night long.
So on that free kick here in the 39th minute after Danny's caution, we clear it out of the 18, but Dallas keeps possession. And then they lump it back into the box where Heinzike is upended by Uragide, and Stuver doesn't like it. And he sprints all the way outside the 18 to chase him down, get in his face. Again, I think that was more like from certain angles, I think in the stadium, or if the broadcast angle was a little bit different, you could say, oh, he undercut Brendan there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think watching it live or on the broadcast angle that it was all that bad. But like you said earlier, and I fully agree, it's the equivalent of we're going to NBA reference here, but like a coach getting a technical foul to try to jazz his guys up and get something going.
Yep.
And that's just about all Brad can do. And nobody responds to it. Like,
No.
It didn't do shit, but I appreciate the effort and the emotion out of Stuver.
I do as well. That's good. That is good leadership. Seeing
someone showing fight.
Exactly. Seeing what's going on out there with the team, how we're looking, how we're getting physically dominated, and then being like, okay, someone's got to do something here. And no one responded to it other than the Dallas fans who were then letting the boos rain down on Stuver there. And we're trying our best to drown them out with stew, but it just ended up being a whole lasagna of words in there.
So there's nothing else that happens, at least that I felt I wanted to take notes on. So like into the second half, no changes at the half for either team, but a very similar start here where Austin comes out sleepwalking.
Mm-hmm.
I guess relative to the first half, you don't give up a goal 90 seconds in. So fucking you have a cookie. But in the 49th minute, Austin has earned a pair of long throw opportunities kind of far side from the broadcast camera right in front of us there in that corner. And on the second one, O'Brien ends up with a chance to hit one like on the volley right at the top of the 18 after Biru had nodded the throw-in up into the air. And Hader scuffs it, and it bounces harmlessly into the hands of Jacob Jackson. So that's one of our 3 shots on target on the night. The other one was the Biru header. And then Jackson just rushes forward, boots it out to kind of the right side, right at midfield. And Delgado with a nice touch to bring that one down. Delgado turns, just plays it over the top centrally, right into the path of Kamungo, who's by himself. And I understand long throw, the center backs are advanced into the area. We always have at least 2 guys back. And this, to me, just seems like, again, lack of concentration, lack of attention to detail. Because, again, like, second time in less than 50 minutes, we're letting somebody get in on Stuver by themselves. And Kamungo, does well to finish it. I don't know what Stuver's supposed to do there outside of just pull off another miracle that he seems to give us every other game. And it just wasn't there last night. So it's 2-0, 4 minutes less than 4 minutes into the second half. And that feels like, dude, it just took us fucking 7 months to get our first comeback victory in league play. Like now we're going to do one from 2 down. Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, it felt like, I think I turned to you at that point. I go, we might lose this game 4-0. Like this really might be a 4-0, just complete and utter ass whooping. And, just poor Brad again, just getting one-on-one situation again. And like you said, he comes up with miracles all the time, but that can't be your game plan to be like, hopefully Brad stones everything that comes his way. Yeah. And we can get out of here. I want to jump back to the Dessler thing a little bit. Right. Okay. And in the first half, the inability for John Gallagher to get the ball to Osman is a massive problem that does not get talked about enough, in my opinion. And you pair that with what Dessler does on the defensive side of the ball and his ability to be, I guess we'll reference some NFL now too, a shutdown corner, a guy who's going to be put on one of your best players on the wing. And that's your job. That's your assignment. You shut that guy down. Johnny does not have that ability. And we talked about this in the past about he's a average player who is a backup fullback in this league, a converted backup fullback in this league. So of course he gets grace from me, and Johnny always plays hard, but him not being able to get the ball to Buka when we had several opportunities to play him long into space. And I think Johnny did one, and the ball was absolutely atrocious. It just rolled to Jackson in the net there. It just, we were not able to generate offense, and that was a huge reason why.
I feel like at some point last night, I think it was pre-match, I think you said something to me to the effect of like, I think I might have been a little hard on Johnny lately. And then 90 minutes later, you're like, nope, I'm completely right. 56th minute here. Austin, again, trying to get something going at this point. And they do sustain possession for a period here before Owen plays Guilherme through down that left side of the 18. And Biru passes it to Obrian in the box, who lets it run through his legs, like little dummy there. Like there's a teammate supposed to be there, but it's 3 fucking Dallas guys. And so like, and then he flaps his arms like there's supposed to be somebody there. So maybe there was. I'll give him that benefit of the doubt. But if you are, and we'll slide a little NBA term in here again, if you're field mapping instead of court mapping, right, and not all players have the ability to do that, then you know that there's nobody there. So I think that just highlights the difference between somebody like Abuka and an Obi, right? Where like you can see the physical differences where Abuka just looks different out there across the league. But just between the two guys, like similar profile, but like there's just a little bit less field IQ out there, at least in this moment, right? And that was very frustrating for us because it was like, dude, like you've been hungry for months now, and you've taken some ill-advised shots, and like, brother, rip that one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this is an opportunity right here that is completely squandered because he gets cute. And I mean, we've seen Obrian for, this is year 2 now, and we did see him because we obviously were watching all the Dallas games, so you saw him at least twice in those matchups. I believe he was there. He was there for his first 2 seasons were in Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he scored the 5th in the Shroom game.
Okay. Yeah. So we've seen him something, and never have I seen him attempt anything like this. And like, to your point, we've seen him in the past as well, where it's like, hey, we're on a break. Homeboy is wide open over here.
Yeah.
Pass him the ball, and he just shoots it. So yes, your field, his awareness out there is not at an upper level. But just so deflating because right now, like you said, something we actually built. We have an opportunity to get the ball into the box. I don't know how many touches we had in the opposition box. It could not have been a lot. And you don't get one for this because he didn't touch the ball.
24-16 in favor of Dallas on those touches in the opposition penalty area. I mean, the number of those that were threatening, though.
Yeah.
And like when you take one touch in the box because it's you against the keeper, like you don't need many more touches in the box if we're just giving those up right and left. 59th minute here. Good guys do win a corner. Fucking Victor Rivas holds it up twice because he can't keep guys straight in the box there. Everybody's I mean, they're being super physical with Svatak in this moment. You rarely see Svatak get as frustrated as he was in the middle of this second half. And so Owen's finally allowed to put this service in. It's headed away, and it clips Victor Rivas at the top of the area, which, like, it was clearly Austin's possession if it hit him or not.
Yeah.
And confirmed that on the replay. And he gives the drop ball to Dallas here. And, like, I think, because, like, thinking about it this morning and watching it back, the Austin guys are frustrated, but they don't make a huge stink about that. So that may be the correct call. But, like, it certainly feels wrong to me to reference a group chat inside joke. They're spirit of the fucking game.
I was baffled in the moment because they're clearing it, essentially. So, like, again, how would that be their possession? It's going to one of our players who are at around midfield or pushed up a little bit. And it still
went to one of our guys off the deflection.
It did. And when I saw him stop the game, I was like, what's going on here? Was it an offsides call? And then I see him like pick it up to drop it. I thought he was dropping it so Dallas would boot it to us, which still was, I was like, great. Now we're going to have to build all the way up. They're going to be in a completely low block. Like, this is not going to go how something could have happened here. But for them, I mean, they took off, right? Like, they played a fast break off this moment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And we're trying to get back.
Yeah.
It's like a 6-on-6.
This was baffling.
So a lot of just kind of match facts and events here over the next 20 minutes or so. You do get a triple sub for Austin in the 63rd. Azuni, Taylor, and Savovich are in for Buka, Rubio, and Dubersarski.
I think we got to pontificate on that a little bit.
Let's 10 minutes. We get the other subs. I think we can wrap it all into there because there's a yellow card to Musa for taking out Danny.
Yep.
yellow card to Sabo in the next minute for a foul on Kappas. And then in the 72nd, yellow card to Kaique for shoving Danny. So again, like that little flurry there was like, holy shit, man, he is not having a good time.
Yeah.
Because again, he's like holding himself back because he knows he can't go out there and he's on a yellow, right? And he can't do that again, especially at Dallas. And then 73rd after the Kaique yellow, you get Fodre and Kolmanich in for Wolf and Biru. So now let's discuss these subs. And I was surprised to hear on the broadcast that the broadcast team didn't realize that we have an Open Cup semifinal on Wednesday.
Jesus.
Dude, literally in like the 88th minute, I think it was Lloyd Sam that was on the call. I may be mistaken, but the color commentator goes, well, just thinking about Austin does have that game against Minnesota, so that makes more sense why Bukari and Wolf are off the field now. I was like, yeah, dude, like, come on. Of course. That's why, because 2-0 right now, we have bigger thing. Like, this game is gone.
Yep.
If the subs can come on and give you anything, great. We'll compete at the end. But, like, and now our attention has shifted to Wednesday. And, like, I think that's where, like, you come out there, you get Mirtu's legs a little bit of a run. Get Sabovic back in the mix. Get him a little bit of a run. Taylor, like, these are the guys we need on Wednesday, whether they start or they come off the bench. And I think you could say the same thing for, like, CJ and John, the way that they have been playing of late. Like, I think you see Obrian play full 90 because you probably don't. Mix. You hope that he's not going to be playing on Wednesday.
Not in the mix for sure. Yeah, you know, I was very fine with throwing the white flag here, essentially, you know. And again, if your mind was on the Wednesday game, it really showed. It really showed, no matter who it was, because if that's where you were at, I don't know what else your excuse could have been for the display last night, man. And good, happy to see Mirtu get out there, get some more run and everything. I know he had that long travel shit and everything, so get his legs underneath him and everything like that. Get Owen off the field. Get Buka off the field. They weren't doing much anyway. But I think, yes, you're looking at Wednesday, and you got it circled, man. And you got to show up because that team's way better. You play them like you played this team, whew.
I mean, third or fourth biggest game in club history. If you just, I would probably put all of our playoff matches from 22 above it, but huge. 76th minute, you get a double change for Dallas. Abubakar and Anderson Julio come in for Farrington and Kaique. And then in the 80th minute, just wanted to note, to kind of back up your point about John Gallagher and Hodder Obrian on that right side, on a progressing break here, John just passes it straight out of bounds behind Hodder. Miscommunication. Again, it's not good enough, man.
No, it's not.
And again, it's not personal with these guys, but you just see how much better it is with Dessler and Buka out there. And so again, fucking fingers crossed Dessler's there on Wednesday, man.
Not
that you can't get it done with Johnny out there. He was an all-star at the right back position 2 years ago. He's fine. He's serviceable. He's fine.
Yes, for sure. I'm right there with you. You know, but if you look at, and to that point even more so, if you look at the Minnesota game, Dessler, the last time we played them up in Minnesota, you get a 1-1 draw. Dessler was coming back from injury that game, I believe, right? Only 5-10 minutes in that matchup.
Yeah, I think it was like 9 minutes to be exact.
Yes, you can get away with it for sure. But does it look good? No. And the last thing, like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't want Hodder Obrian and Osman tracking back to balls. We want them going towards the goal. And if you can't play the long ball over the top, but you also can't play the check back, that's not good.
Yeah, shit. Yeah. 88th minute. Here's Dallas just methodically breaking through the Austin defense here in the waning moments. Kamungo finds Petar Musa at the top of the box. Haven't seen that on the night. I mean, fuck, man. All night. Musa, he's got choices here. He can get, I mean, Kamungo runs the give and go, and he's got him to the left. He's also got Anderson Julio to his right, who's in behind, and he chooses the right side to Anderson Julio. Julio slots it past Stuber for the third goal. And this does end up going to video review, and VAR calls it back for offside. He was offside by a touch there. But good God, man, it doesn't matter if you sub these guys, Biru out. Yeah. Now Kolmanich is behind and again, I understand that we're pushed up and like this and that, but like, there's nothing good here.
No, nothing good going on. I see this goal go in. I didn't see the offside, and it was just like, okay, here comes. I honestly believed it was the fourth goal. Now, was alcohol involved in that equation? Yes. But it sure felt like that was the fourth goal that got scored on us last night.
I told you this morning, dude, when we were about to drive back, I was like, I thought until I opened up the game this morning, in my head, it was a 3-0 loss.
Yeah.
So, like, we were both there.
Yeah.
And, like, closing this one out, Ramiro got a yellow card for talking to Rivas while he was reviewing at the monitor over there. Then, after the review, Leggett and Pedrinho come in for Ramiro and Delgado. Norris in for Musa as the human victory cigar in the 6th minute of stoppage time. And then Norris gets his name in the box score with a yellow card in the 7th minute of stoppage right before the final whistle. And that's all she wrote.
I'm going to jump back a little bit, and this wasn't a big play. This wasn't, anything that was an important highlight or anything, but it just fits the narrative perfectly. You bring Abubakar in. We're trying to set up, I think, a late corner from Komanic, and Abubakar is just hugging CJ. Straight up wrapped around him, body on body, just like grown man strength versus CJ, who I will give credit, like has put on some serious muscle since he got here. So credit to him. But Abubakar's a different level. And like for them to be playing like that, up 2-0 in a game where we have been utterly toothless, you have your third shot on net from Biru, which was 30 yards away, nothing that anyone had to deal with. And to reiterate, and we knew this is how they're going to play. And like, there's nobody in that organization who didn't know Dallas was going to play us like this last night. There's no way. That's how they got the point off of us. So, Abubakar physical in that nature. And again, you did not match their match their physicality. You did not meet them at that summit to be like, okay, we know we can play with y'all. We feel like we have the better team on paper. We have to find ways to win the physical battle. And when you lose the physical battle the way you lost the physical battle last night, you lose the mental battle. And you lost the game as well. So nothing went great. I hate going up there. Fuck that place. Yes, at least that one guy got tased and arrested.
59% possession at the end of this one for Austin. 15 shots to 12 in favor of FC Dallas and 7 shots on target to 3 in favor of FC Dallas. But I don't think those stats are indicative of how much of an ass whooping this was. 6 corners to 0 in favor of Austin, actually. Well, because Dallas didn't need corners last night. 0 big chances created for ATX. On FOTMob's model, 0.67 XG for Austin to 1.81 for Dallas. I once again respect the expected goals on target metric. 0.13 for Austin, 2.08 for Dallas, and that feels way more correct to me. Like you said, man, once again, out-physicaled by Dallas. That puts the stamp on, like you said earlier, you had no Copa Tejas wins this year. And, like, again, we will take Open Cup. We will take playoffs. We care more about those, but especially when Dallas and Houston are worse than you.
Yeah.
They are worse than you. In the standings, I firmly believe they are worse on the pitch. Talent-wise, we have a better group. You got no wins. So you got to turn that shit around fucking next year. And, like, I don't know what else to say from an emotional fan standpoint other than you guys don't understand how much the diehard fans care about beating Houston and Dallas. Sure. Clearly, you don't. This 2025 version. So I hope that the guys who are here next year, and it is a larger percentage of the team still under contract than we've had the last couple years, you guys got to retain that fucking information, man. Yeah. Because, again, this could you could lose Wednesday and be out of the Open Cup. Nothing to show for it. But, hey, we won more games than we usually do. And you could just be knocked out in the first round because we're going to play a good fucking team in that first round, man. You still got to get there. You have not clinched yet.
Nope. And last night you would have just basically, almost put your name in permanent marker in a spot there in the top 9. But yeah, man, this was, it's funny because the inverse has almost happened with us all the time where it's like we've had largely disappointing seasons, but fared well versus our Copa Tejas rivals and everything. And I tell you what, it mattered to Dallas. It mattered to their fans last night. It mattered to their players last night. Their fucking coach, Quill, is up and down the sideline, really engaged in the game, very, very vocal out there and everything. So, like, it mattered to them. They deserved to win the game, and they beat the absolute shit out of us. And to that, I give them credit. We got taunted by no less than 7 children last night.
At least.
One kid just, like, walked right up to us and was just, like, standing there going, woo! And I was just, oh my God, we're all going to jail. And there was nothing I could say. You know what I mean? Like
I was laughing. I mean,
yeah, it was just like, yeah, go ahead. Like
this is what we fucking sign up for doing this every year, dude.
Yeah, talk your shit.
And we're going back next year.
Talk your shit. Whatever you got to do, you can talk your shit, man. But I'm happy to move on from this game because it was absolutely one of the worst games across any sport that I have ever watched. It was terrible.
Up there for sure. Yeah. And like, dude, I mean, can you guys fucking win next year so we don't have to go back in 2027?
Please.
God damn. And like, also, like, on a serious note, as we transition into previewing Wednesday's match a little bit here, pulling up the stats here on the YouTube, I think this feels like the blueprint to beat Austin FC. What FC Dallas has done over the last month twice against us. Be the more physical team. Counter press to limit Austin's chances to find runners in behind, especially Buka on the counter. And then, like you said earlier, once we settle into possession, just get back and try to make us break down a low block because we're not good at it.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see it on the possession chart here from MLS Stat on Blue Sky. Yeah, the horseshoe, we got the almost 60% possession, but we got nothing in the middle there because they're just sitting back and we could not break them down.
Yeah,
not even close.
And they have physical wingbacks back there, or physical and athletic. Camargo, very athletic as well. Who's on the other side? Shaq Moore, incredibly athletic. And to the point I made earlier, was Guillermo at the top? All right, we got to get rid of this G+.
Goal plus sucks, dude.
We're done with this.
Goals added is terrible.
We can make the numbers say whatever we want, and these numbers suck.
Yeah, Bureau's the second to the top.
That's absurd. But it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Our inability to get Osman the ball in space, Johnny in particular, I'm going to single him out on this. That is your job, to get him the ball when we have that ball, the possession on the right side of the field. That's your fucking job, dude. Like, and he was not able to do it last night. And when you take that element away from our offense, we are already not a very threatening, powerful, high-powered offense. You take that aspect out of it, we're almost toothless. And that, to your credit, that could be the blueprint here. But I will maintain, and I guess we'll sprinkle a little seasoning of optimism here.
Okay.
We are way better when Dessler's on the field.
Yeah,
we're way better.
Night and day.
Way better.
Not
Obviously,
but because he makes everybody else around him better.
Everyone better. Everyone is better when he is out there. He knows how to play space. Talk about being able to see the awareness on the field and space and spatial recognition. He's got that down to a science. He makes runs where he doesn't even get the ball, but it takes the defense has to account for it, and it opens guys up even more. So like night and day between what this team looks like when Dessler is not starting. And then obviously the gap between Mirtu and Hot Air is massive. It's massive, right? And the Owen Wolf hot streak, nobody expected it to run forever. And if you were, again, you're delusional. Like,
shout out to our buddy Tim from the MLS betting podcast, who not only bet Austin, and they've been fading Austin all year. Bet Austin, bet Owen Wolf to score. I was like, oh, God damn it.
God, brother, you're a little late to the game here. So the seasoning of optimism here, yes, hopefully Dessler's full go, ready to play on Wednesday. That will be a huge lift for us. Obviously, Mirtu, without, fingers crossed, some random shit doesn't happen before Wednesday here. And he's ready to go. We are a different team with those two guys out there. So I'll leave it at that. You still got your ass beat.
Yeah, and like looking at the table before we completely put this game in the rearview mirror, you still, of course, are on 41 points through your 29 matches. After Portland beats the Red Bulls last night, Portland is now, again, on the same 29 games as us and a point ahead. So I think you've probably lost you have lost the pole position on sixth place here. Which you had coming in. Luckily, Colorado still 2 points behind in eighth. We have a game in hand on them. We have a game in hand on San Jose, who gets beat 4-2 by LAFC last night. So, we are still 7 points above that wild card line. Still, I believe on playoff status's algorithm, I believe it's a 75% chance at finishing in a top 7 position. which again dwindled down to there is now a 3% chance instead of a 1% chance that you don't finish top 9 here.
Mm-hmm.
So again, not a huge change in those probabilities after last night, but again, it's just an opportunity missed. And I think it would be podcast malpractice if we did not highlight that is the end of the 9-game make or break streak.
Yep.
We said 16 points is what we needed. We got 15.
Mm-hmm.
So D+ on the make or break stretch here. Like you barely passed, and it's only because we were fortunate with the other results and the teams around us cannibalizing each other over the last month.
And I'll just jump on Portland quick before I get back to that. But like they closed with Houston, Vancouver, Dallas, Seattle, San Diego. So they got a serious run of some solid teams here. And like you said, getting out of that 9-game stretch where we had every team was very beatable on that stretch, and that's why we were so concerned about this point of the season. And now you're going to have some real tests here coming up. So we cannot pop the champagne yet, for sure. And Brad said, it baffles me that you'd have to say this about being complacent. We got to see this out, boys. We got to see this out. We got 5 games left here.
There is nothing clinched.
And
not a thing.
After what transpired last night and what it looked like, people are a little on edge right now.
Let's go ahead and move on. Unless you have anything else to add here, let's go ahead and move on. All good?
Yeah.
All right. Moving on here. U.S. Open Cup semifinal matchup. Traveling up to Minnesota, St. Paul to be exact, to take on the Loons of Minnesota United. The first thing we got to mention here is that we are back from Frisco. There is a watch party here in Austin for those of you not making the trip up to Allianz Field on Wednesday. Los Verdes hosting a watch party Wednesday, the 17th. This is at Chalmers, Austin. It's 1700 East Cesar Chavez here in Austin. Kickoff 7:30. That means the watch party gets underway at 6:30. So once again, a family-friendly event. All ages are welcome. You've got on-site and street parking available there by Chalmers, Austin. Large screen with lots of seating out back, and we've got 2 food trucks on site that will be open until 9 p.m. So about the middle of that second half there. And keep in mind, Open Cup knockout match means with a draw after regulation, you play an additional 30 minutes. A draw after the additional half hour means you go to pens. So if you're going out to this watch party, just make sure you want to get that food. You got to get those orders in there before the middle of the second half, especially if we're level early second half. You might want to think about getting an extra little snack there for the potential late night game here. Again, Minnesota hosting this one. They are, after yesterday, it feels like to me, and again, we live in the roller coaster, the swing back and forth, snip, snap, snip, snap with our emotions, with the vibes. But it feels like our vibes, for us, making the trip up there last night, there was nothing good.
No.
Last night, and Minnesota kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum here. They beat first place San Diego on the road last night, 3-1, with 34% possession, 0.5 XG to San Diego's 2.16, and they win 3-1. Dane St. Clair is on fire. We know he's one of the best keepers in the league, right? One of the all-stars that we saw at Q2 2 months back. 12 saves for St. Clair last night. They're in second in the Western Conference right now. They've got 10 points from their last 4 games, though they are third in points per game in the West. You go points per game, Vancouver would leapfrog them into second. In terms of the head-to-head here all-time, 5 wins for Austin, 1 draw, and 5 losses. So everything is perfectly balanced here in the Open Cup showdown. Of course, this season, we've already played our 2 regular season matches. Austin got whooped at home, 3-0. The literal worst home defeat by a margin of 3 there. Never happened before May of this year on May 3rd. 21 days later on May 24th, you get a 1-1 draw up at their house thanks to that John Kolmanich first career goal here in an Austin FC uniform. So that's one of the things that I'm trying to lean on and, again, draw some of that positivity, season it onto the preview here, is that we've done this before, and we did it with assuming Dessler can go. We did it with what I think is a lesser team in terms of the talent we put out there. It was a different part of the season. It was the month from hell with those 9 matches in 28 days. We had rotation. You have Owen Wolf only played like 19 minutes in this one. We talked about Dessler coming off the bench.
BV
so like
still playing.
BV was still out there.
Mirtu sitting on 1 or 2 goals at that point,
I think
right?
one, yeah.
Something very, very limited. So yes, we were a very different team.
And in the summer window, they made some significant changes to their roster. So there are a couple names that they will be missing that are noticeable, and some guys that came in and made their debut last night that I think could play a bigger role here on Wednesday. They did sell Tani Oluwasi to Villarreal, $8 million fee there. That certainly helps. They sold U22 initiative forward Sangbin Jong, who has hurt us at Q2 before, sold him in the league to St. Louis for $1.37 million. And they loaned a guy named Kip Keller down to the USL to New Mexico United for the rest of the season. But it wasn't just outward moves, The inbound players signed attacking midfielder Dominic Fitz for $2 million. He's coming over from the Austrian First Division. He made his debut off the bench last night, playing 27 minutes. They also signed, and this sounds like a Key and Peele name and also something that I think you'll enjoy. They signed Nectarios Triantis for $2.5 million from Sunderland. I think we haven't had the roster releases yet. That should be coming in the next week or two in terms of those roster sheets, as we can pull that up here for the YouTube viewers. Again, this one out of date here, but I think with that transfer fee, Nectarios Triantis, I think, is going to be a U22 initiative signing for them. And he made his debut last night at the same time, playing 27 minutes, coming on alongside Fitz. And Nectarios Triantis, I love this name. Goal and an assist. So watch the fuck out for this guy.
Who did that?
Nectarios Triantis.
Oh, okay.
They also signed left winger Kenyel Michel, left wing from Alajuelense, who we've seen watching some of the CONCACAF Champions League coverage over the last couple years. Signed him for just over $1 million. This is a team that is still playing their 5-back look, right? Because they have numerous wing-back options there, right? The 3 main ones you will see in a lineup would be Bongi Hlongwane, right? Julian Gressel, they've kind of been alternating there on that right side. And then Joseph Rosales over there on the left side. We know how dangerous he can be. And like I mentioned, Dane St. Clair in form right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, dude, not just because I know he's been picking up some points for us in best ball, but like with Oluwasi out of the picture, Kelvin Yeboah, I think, is also coming into a little bit of better form than he was in the first half of the season, being that lone striker up top, that lone target man. We know what it looked like last year when he was in that similar type of role, scoring like, I think 9 goals after the summer transfer window when he arrived last season.
Yeah,
so
he was on fire.
I think he is just, again, a Petar Musa-esque type of figure up at the top in terms of his stature and his physicality, both on the ground and in the air. Like Yeboah is somebody you really got to watch out for.
Yeah, I mean, this team has a ton of speed. Obviously, I haven't seen these new guys, but like you said there with your boy Nectarios, comes in and gets a goal and assist in 27 minutes. Pretty freaking impressive. I've respected this team since the start of the season. I thought that they were going to be really good this year, and they are very good. Kelvin Yeboah scares the shit out of me. Joaquin Pereira is really fucking good, and he is someone who can beat you with the shot. He was uncorking shots in that 1-1 draw, I remember pretty distinctly. But he can also distribute really well. He's very, very dangerous in space. A true kind of, midfielder, center attacking midfielder that pulls the strings of the entire offense. So he's going to be someone you have to watch out for, man. And as you mentioned with Dane St. Clair, he's up there with Stuver in regard to how talented he is, how good he's been this season. He's a very, very good keeper. This is going to be a tough match, man. And I'm definitely worried about it and concerned after what I saw last night.
Yeah, and you bring up Rosales and Joaquin Pereira, who killed us at Q2 earlier this year. And the year before in the opener, Robin Lod came in and did his thing against us. This is a very, very talented team. Second in the Western Conference table, is not a mirage with these guys. And you're going to see 3 center backs out there. And in the middle is that big bastard, Michael Boxall, right? He could be flanked by Mo Duggan. He could be flanked by Jefferson Diaz, Carlos Harvey, right? This is a very deep team. And it's pretty crazy to look at that when you got rid of a guy like Tani Oluwasi and you got rid of a U22 in the window and you still look this fucking dangerous and threatening. And not just look, but going out there and executing, right? 10 points from their last 4 league matches. Anything else for you on the Minnesota side of things?
I mean, I just, again, looking at their roster, we didn't even bring up Markanic, who's very good. 7 goals for him this year right now. So, like, they are deep. Robin Lod's got 8 goal contributions himself. You got Will Trapp, who's very talented. He's a good player. You know what I mean?
He's solid.
Yeah, they got dudes up and down this lineup who are very, very threatening, and they have guys to support that as well. But I think if we're full strength, you can be right there with your team. You're going to have to play one of your better games for sure. That place is going to be rocking. It's going to be a very hostile environment, but you can keep up with this team, and you're going to have to play a very clean game without any errors. You can't be giving PKs to this team. You can't be giving turnovers that lead directly to goals and opportunities, because they're going to have their chances. So hopefully last night, if you can take one thing away from it, is we're not that great. Let's turn it up a notch. Let's come back together. Let's figure this out, because it was an ass whooping last night, and now you have to move on with this short notice here. So it's going to be a tough game, dude.
Yeah. And again, like, even if this wasn't a knockout semifinal and just the next game on the regular season slate, you just simply have to have a better showing than you just put at the shit you just took on the field in fucking Frisco.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be. And it feels like it would be tough to be worse than we were last night. But we've seen this again. It's September, man. And that's why I just keep looking at the calendar like, oh boy.
Yeah.
And, I think we saw last time the 1-1 draw up there that we did start a 5-back, right? Dessler was coming off the bench, just making his way back from injury. But you slid Biru inside, started Kolmanich on the left, and that paid off. Kolmanich gets his first goal in an Austin FC uniform. Do you think we could see a 5-back? Because, like, we know, especially from the beginning of the season, that Nico does like to tinker when he can. And, like, in a knockout scenario like this, I think we could see a curveball or two like that. Like, anything for you on something like that with the lineup and the formation?
I think it makes sense. I'll jump all the way back to the first game. You have the almost the only Stuver ghastly error of the season, where that first goal just rolls through his legs inexplicably, and you're on the back foot at that point in time. So making some changes as you were going up there, went up there for the second match, knowing that we had some knocks and some injuries. I do think there is something to be said for the 5-back here. We brought up their wing backs, how they like to play. They're going to hit you on the counter. Those guys are very, very dangerous in space. And if you have that 5-back, that at least allows you to be able to try to alleviate some of that pressure. But again, even when we had that 1-1 game, I vividly remember the middle of the pitch being a bit better than it had been in that month of May that was just absolutely disastrous.
Yeah.
And I think that allowed us to alleviate what some of these guys were doing out there on the wing. And I cannot say how grateful I am that Tani Oluwasi is not there anymore, because he's ridiculously good.
Yeah, and I think,
Biru could get benched, man. After what you did last night, you could absolutely see the bench in a situation. I don't think it's going to be busted out here, obviously. With the semifinal, you try to keep the cohesion. But good Lord, man, the leash should be short for him in this matchup because of what he did last night. I wouldn't mind the 5-back. I really would not.
Yeah.
I
do think we see a 4, because I think we get Ilie in there and starting. He was the guy last night that, like, that was, I guess, not the guy, but another indicator from the player personnel last night of Ilie not seeing the pitch.
Yeah.
You're saving him for a potential 90 here, I think. Like, I don't know if his legs fall off if he goes 120 at this point, but and Mirtu's got to get back in there.
Yep. Yeah.
For O'Brien.
Yes.
And to have that midfield of Ilie, Danny, Diego, Owen out on the left, Mirtu up top, Book on the right. Like, I think that's what we see. And the only question for me is Dessler healthy enough to start?
God, I hope so. But yes, I'm right there with you. I think that's our choice 11 for this matchup, and I still would not mind the 5-back. I respect this team. Sure. I respect their ability to get out there and score and everything. And like a kind of understated aspect of this club is They play defense really well too. You know what I mean? They have the high scoring guys. They're up and down, but like they can also guard. They have a defense that is as solid. So I think again we're a bit outmatched talent wise. I don't think it's a huge gap, but you might have to get a little creative here to try to level the playing field with the team that I think is superior. And it's difficult to win on the road in this league.
Yeah, I mean, to underscore that point, dude, I'm pretty sure on a per game basis, Minnesota allows the fewest goals per game in the Western Conference. They are a close second if they are not in first there. They have given up 3 less goals than we have in one more match played. So I don't know, man, unless you have anything else to add here, how much is Austin FC winning by to advance in the Open Cup and bring the final to Austin on Wednesday?
I'm going to say we're 1-1 to PKs and we win in PKs. I think that is one of our best opportunities, one of our best, what is that guy's name? Dr. Strange, or what the fuck his name is, it Marvel guy?
That is Marvel guy, yeah.
Okay, like with all the outcomes, this is one way.
You're pulling out the one finger again?
No, not I forgot the dude's name. I'm not going to butcher it even more. This is one way that you can go ahead and win this game. You know what I mean? In my opinion, like getting to the PKs, letting Brad do his thing there. We've seen some success with PKs thus far this season, so I'll go with that.
Got a 2-0 loss.
Ooh.
I don't think we're getting it done.
Okay, well you set me up there.
And again, maybe I'm.
Yeah, no,
maybe I'm just feeling it from last night and how bad that was, and like letting the emotions of like fucking again in Frisco with this get to me. But it's just 2 teams in a small sample of this weekend. It's 2 teams with the vibes going in opposite directions. So I hope I am saying this on Thursday.
So I hate to say it, but that's what I'm going with. And hopefully they listen and they say, fuck you, E, you're stupid and shut up. And I'll say, okay.
Nice. I will say, okay. If we're able to advance. I mean, you said pop champagne earlier. We might have to pop some champagne if we win this game on Wednesday, dude. Because this is what I'll say, and I think should be an additional motivator for the guys. Not that they need my little fucking rah-rah speech here, but you have the opportunity as the 2025 version of Austin FC to etch your names into the club's history books, the legacy of this club. Even if you don't win the final, all of the Austin FC diehards will always remember the time that this team brought a final to Austin, the first time. And again, we've talked about on multiple podcasts now about how incredible we think that environment could and would be.
Yeah.
But this is by far the toughest team we've seen in this tournament, and by far the toughest team we've played in over 2 months.
True.
And I don't feel great about it.
I cannot blame you. After what we saw last night, I cannot blame you. I will harken back to All-Star Weekend, seeing Pep at the Haymaker event and him going on record and saying that he feels like this feels more, the team wants this more than the fan base. And that is encouraging to me, and I hope that you back those words up.
Prove me wrong, boys.
Come on down to Farmer Field where the champions play. Get ready for the game. It's Lost Business Day.
Last business day here on episode 256 of the North End podcast. Austin FC 2 on the road again on Friday night, 9 p.m. kickoff there against Tacoma Defiance. A very big game in terms of the playoff implications for both of these clubs. In terms of the lineup, we of course were missing Peter Grogan and Ruben Bonachera due to their red card suspensions. But you did get Micah Burton back from U.S. camp. You did get Antonio Gomez and Irvin Torres back from the first team. Chuy Moreno did step in, as you can see there if you're watching on the YouTube, for Ruben Bonachera, and Riley Thomas shifted over to that left back spot. On the other side, out of all the first team guys we talked about, you were way more correct. It was only Leo Burney, the one first team asset that cannot play with the first team because he's in that 31st slot for their senior roster. So Leo Burney out there starting at the center back position for Tacoma. And pretty quick recap here because there were a number of big plays and some in quick succession that made this a very, very entertaining game to watch. It also sounded like a pretty good environment out there at the Starfire Sports Complex in Tacoma. We'll just jump ahead to the half-hour mark here, where Austin was able to turn Tacoma over about 30 yards from net. And Jorge immediately turns and plays Micah Burton through down the right side of the 18. And Micah takes one touch before cutting it across to Jacobaro, of all people, crashing the net. And he taps it on target to find the back of the net for the opener. And his first Austin FC 2 goal. Like, it was like, oh, Jaka getting in the mix here. Like, he looks healthy now.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. What a great way to start this game as well. We knew this was going to be a tough matchup and one that was very important with a lot of playoff implications. And this Tacoma team, man, I can't remember exactly their goals allowed and goals for, but it's in the hundreds.
52-59 before this match.
In the hundreds.
Yeah,
So this is a team that plays some wild games, and good on you, Barrow, man. That's fantastic. Check account open.
So you did get 3 changes for Tacoma early in the second half. And then in the 63rd, Diego Abarca comes in for Vlad Danchutu on the left there. Swap sides with Micah. I believe Micah went over to the left. Diego came in on his customary right side. 75th minute, man. Or actually, I should say, because I do think that this is important context for the second half. 56th minute. Cross got put in by Riley and finds the head of Jorge. Point blank range. And he gets stonewalled by the Tacoma keeper, Castro, who I think, despite the scoreline, Castro, given the quality of chances that Austin FC 2 created, he had a pretty good night, all things considered. But this was, again, more frustration for Jorge in the moment. And then in the 75th, Jackson Corey, who had subbed on in the 61st for Tacoma, gets free down that left side. And he angles as he gets to the 18, kind of angles out wide with his touch to open up a very slim amount of space to try to pick out that far top corner of the net. And he buries it, man, for the equalizer. It was a very, very good shot. And you got a huge pop from the crowd there. And that crowd, like I mentioned, man, was feisty all night. Like, it was fun. That environment, kind of like it does sometimes down there at Palmer Field, the environment was coming through on the broadcast there. And literally 20 seconds after the restart, Micah Burton gets to the end line on the left, drops it back for Adrian Gonzalez, who lofts it towards the top of the 6. Irvin Torres is there. He touches it on like 6 feet away to him, touches it on to Alistue, and Jorge doesn't miss this one, takes a touch to settle it, then executes a clinical finish to regain the lead. And that there were a couple other chances for both teams the remaining 15 minutes, but like, it took all the wind out of the sails that had just, I mean, that Starfire had just come to life.
Yeah.
Those parents and fans and friends out there were getting loud and things were chippy. And for Jorge to get this one in the manner that he did, you see it in his celebration, man. Like, it had been a while for a guy who has been our best player, I think, on this team when CJ's not down there. Felt good for Jorge to get that one, and just a huge win for the guys on the road against Tacoma again. I think both you and I think that is a team that is better than their record shows. And it lofts you currently back into the playoff picture in that 8th and final playoff spot. 2 teams above us kind of in that race for the final 5 playoff spots there, 4 to 8. Real Monarchs and Ventura County have a game in hand. North Texas is currently in 9th. They are in action right now against last place Sporting KC too. So if Sporting KC can pull out a draw here, even if North Texas wins the PK shootout and is tied again with us on 38 points, that would be a very successful weekend in the table, I think. And the guys got their job done. They got the 3 points and brought it back home. Absolutely.
This was a big matchup. I don't know. Did we pull the lever on this one, just given the context of,
we did.
of what it was looking like for the playoff implications? So, yes, great win. Way to respond. Alistue, man, kid's a stud. Been a stud all season long. It's been a joy to watch him play when I have had the chances to watch him play. And, this team has some pop. This team has some fire. You have some players down there who can do stuff. So you just got to find your way into this playoff. And let's see what happens, man. So hats off to him for a very good win in a hostile environment. I bet that was a lot of fun, because sometimes in this next pro, you can be playing in front of, a Dallas FC crowd or an FC Dallas crowd,
Yeah. What's their name again? I mean, and dude, with the 3 games left, you host St. Louis City, first place, St. Louis City 2 on Friday at home. Then you get the Timbers. That is probably the lever game that is remaining of these three, because then you go on the road on decision day to the Town FC. Man, this decision day for both the first and the second team out there in San Jose, not funny, schedule makers.
No, not cool at all. But you got your work cut out for you, man. If you think you're a good team, you're going to have a chance to prove it here with these last couple of matchups. Like you said, St. Louis has been running away with this thing since the start. I think they're up, 11 points on the table there. So
yeah.
Going to have your work cut out for you. But like I said, we have some players down there. We have some guys who also have been performing, and your Micah Burtons could step it up. You could take it another step up, and then, we'll see what happens, man. So good 3 points for him.
Yeah, we will preview that match against St. Louis City, too, on Thursday's episode.
Wow, the best keeper in the world.
I just wanted to highlight to those so inclined to be concerned about this, that Damian Loss has recovered from his minor injury for Louisville City FC. He did start in net for Louisville on the road at Pittsburgh Riverhounds there at Highmark Stadium. I'm a Pittsburgh guy. That is one of the coolest stadiums I've seen. Yeah. They're actually going to renovate it and expand it. And I don't know, man. We got to go to a game up there. It's beautiful. Especially if we could go to a game and watch the best keeper in the world pitch a clean sheet in his return, the 2-0 victory for Louisville City. If you're watching on the YouTube, you can see Damian made all 4 saves that came his way on target. 2 of those coming from inside the box. One of them a diving save, had 3 punches to get that ball out of there. A good night, man, for the 23-year-old keeper who, again, is potentially the heir apparent here to Brad Stuver in Austin.
Yeah, man. And to get back, in form and have a good game after an injury, that always feels really great because, of course, there's a little bit of the cobwebs, a little bit of the rust in there. So that was fantastic to see him back on his shit again, man. He's a good player.
Closing out episode 256 with the nonsense. Do not have the best ball scores tallied yet, but I do think we have brought the group of 4 back together because I know Thomas Muller, hat trick, is with Phil. I know Dennis Buanga is with David and Soccer-Wise. And those are the 2 teams chasing us and We Are Austin TV. We didn't have a dud of a week, but we didn't have any fucking hat tricks on our team, man. So I'm going to be very interested to see early in this week how the scores shake out. But another good week at the books, now another 3-week win streak for us. Very unfortunate on Underdog that they didn't post any shots attempted or shots on target props until 3 hours before the game started. So we got some entries in privately, but all we had was these goals allowed props. And we come up 1 Orlando City goal short of hitting this one. So, man, what are you going to do? It was decent process there. You lose a unit, so you're still plus 21.1 units on Underdog. You whiff hardcore on all 3 money line plays, including a touchdown for Vancouver against Philadelphia Union, the team leading the Supporter Shield race. But you crushed the goal scorers, including a plus 450 for Nicholas Fernandez there with NYCFC. Give myself a pat on the back for that one. You add 3.3 units at the books. So plus 51.63 units at the books, plus 21.1 units on Underdog. We'll look to keep it rolling. There are a couple midweek MLS makeup games here in the midweek so if we find anything juicy enough to put out a little article, you can see that on the northendpodcast.com. That would be posted by Tuesday evening if you are so inclined. And of course, we'll be back with the regularly scheduled full slate coming into next weekend.
Stop playing with us, Underdog.
Yeah.
Stop messing around with us. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. I can guarantee it.
Anything else for you, E, before we shut it down?
Oh, God. No.
Well, on that note, everybody, look, I'm already starting to get nervous. Little shot of adrenaline there thinking about Wednesday night now. Open Cup Semifinal, 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday, which means we will be back on Thursday, recapping the Open Cup Semifinal, previewing the first team's Sunday night soccer appearance at home, hosting Seattle Sounders, previewing the second team's match against first place St. Louis City SC. This is the week that it could all fall apart, or we turn things around, we bring the good vibes back, sprinkle that seasoning on there, my friend. We appreciate you all tuning in, sticking with us here on episode 256 of the North End Podcast. We'll see you back here on Thursday. Enjoy the beginning of your week, everybody. we will try to do the same. And I guess that's it, man. Until next time, he's E, and I'm Zach. Vamos Austin FC, everybody. Goodbye.